You know that feeling, right? The moment a conversation just turns. A situation escalates, and you feel that familiar heat rising inside you. And in that moment, it really feels like you've lost control, like someone or something else has just grabbed the wheel. But it's worth asking, is that really what's happening? Or is it a fundamental misunderstanding of how our own emotions actually work?
So think about it. How many times have you said something like, "That person made me so angry"? It's such a common phrase. But can anyone really make you feel anything? The idea that we lose control because of something done to us, maybe that's where we got it wrong. Maybe it's a power we're unknowingly giving away. And maybe the first step to becoming unshakable is simply to watch, quietly, how we do it.
To really get this, we kind of have to look at the biology of an emotion. And you'll see it's not nearly as mysterious as it feels. There's a very real, very physical process going on inside of us.
Okay, I want you to consider this number, 90 seconds. That's it. For most emotions, that is their entire chemical lifespan inside your body. That rush of anger, that jolt of fear, that wave of shame. As a pure biochemical event, its physical presence is incredibly brief. So what's actually happening in those 90 seconds? Well, it's basically a neurochemical explosion. Your brain perceives some kind of threat and just floods your system with a cocktail of chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, the whole shebang, putting your entire body on high alert. Your heart races, your muscles tense up. It's that classic fight-or-flight response. But here's the amazing part. If you just leave it alone, your body self-regulates. That chemical surge just dissolves.
And this is where it gets so interesting. This is the split between what our body does and what our mind does. You see, the chemical reaction is just a spark. It's there and then it's gone in about a minute and a half. But the mental narrative, the story we tell ourselves about what just happened, well, that's what turns the spark into a wildfire. We're the ones who keep the emotion going long after the chemistry has faded. We do it by replaying the event, feeding the story, and essentially redosing ourselves with those same emotional chemicals over and over again.
So if we're the ones keeping the fire going, that brings up this other huge idea, doesn't it? The whole concept of an emotional trigger. It's so common to point to a person or a situation as the cause of how we feel. But what if the reality is a lot more internal?
This is such a powerful way to see it. The idea here is that nobody can install an emotional button inside of you. They can only come along and push a button that was already there, a button that's connected to something much, much deeper inside you.
And those buttons, they're almost always connected to the unhealed parts of our past. Old beliefs we have about ourselves, emotional memories that feel like they're literally stored in our bodies, past moments of rejection or humiliation. So when a situation today reminds our system of that old pain, our reaction isn't really about what's happening now. It's a reaction to then. The trigger isn't the cause. It just reveals a wound that's still tender.
We can take this idea even further if we look closely at an emotion like anger. Anger tends to be the loudest one in the room, the most visible, but it's almost never the primary feeling. It usually acts more like a bodyguard for something else.
You can think of it as a kind of shield. Anger is the armor we put on to protect our own vulnerability. And we do it because it feels powerful, right? It's active, it points outward. It's so much easier to yell, "You're wrong," than it is to admit, "You've really hurt me."
And behind that armor of anger, you'll almost always find these more tender states. A deep-seated fear of losing control, the simple raw sting of pain, the quiet burn of shame, or that overwhelming, sinking feeling of powerlessness. Anger is often just the brain's reflexive, defensive response to mask what truly hurts.
So if our emotions are just fleeting chemical reactions and our triggers are just echoes of old wounds, then where does our power actually lie? Well, it seems to live in a tiny, almost imperceptible moment in time.
Think about it like this. First, there's the stimulus, the thing that happens. And then there's our response, what we do or feel about it. For most of us, most of the time, these 2 points feel like they're fused together, instantaneous, but they're not. In between them is a microscopic gap, a space. And inside that space lies all of our freedom. It is the moment of choice. It's the birthplace of self-mastery.
And the most amazing thing happens when you start to just become aware of that space. The more you notice it, the wider it gets. And with that awareness, what was once a knee-jerk, automatic reaction starts to become a conscious, chosen response. You stop being a victim of your own impulses, and you start becoming the author of your own actions.
Learning to live in that space allows you to access a part of yourself that is always calm, always present.
It's the part of you that can witness the storm of emotion without getting swept away and tossed around by it.
Here's a really helpful way to see it. Our emotions, the anger, the joy, the sadness, they're all just like clouds moving through the sky. They're temporary, they change shape, but they are not the sky itself. And no matter how dark or how stormy a cloud looks, it eventually moves on. The nature of a cloud is to be transient, and that is the nature of an emotion too. And you are the sky. You are that vast, open, and fundamentally unchanged awareness through which all the clouds pass. When you start to identify with the sky instead of the storm, you realize you are the steady space in which all feelings happen. You're not the feelings themselves.
Now, it's really important to get this next part. The goal of all this awareness is not to become some emotionless robot. It isn't about suppressing what you feel or becoming empty. It's something far more integrated and far more powerful.
This is the heart of it, right here. Emotional freedom isn't the absence of feeling. It's the ability to experience the full spectrum of what it means to be human. The anger, the sadness, the fear, without being controlled by it. It means you can feel the storm without having to become the storm.
True inner peace is never found by trying to avoid life's difficulties. It's found by changing our relationship to them. It's about learning how to maintain that core of presence, that quiet awareness, right in the middle of whatever chaos is unfolding, whether it's inside you or out. And all of this leads to one final realization. The struggle for emotional mastery, it isn't against other people. It isn't against external circumstances. The power was never outside of you to begin with. The journey, the challenge, and the victory, they are always and only an internal one.